Hey everybody, this is DBZWrestlingFan, and I'm doing a review on the DVD of Chris Jericho breaking the code. This DVD I actually bought at Kmart when I was in Florida, and yes, is what the inside of the DVD looks like. Well, the set, and voila. Anyways, let's get started on the Disc 1 review, which was the documentary, and and I have to say, the documentary for the Jericho DVD was actually pretty interesting. I found it to be entertaining. I got to learn more about Jericho than I thought I knew. Um, Anyways, the program for it, I'm gonna base, what I remember off of this, because there's a lot in that DVD that I may not even remember. Basically, Jericho started out with Lance Storm back in 1990 in this small crowd, or this small crowd arena. Then got bigger when him and Lance Storm went over to Stampede Wrestling. Then Jericho got his big break in this fed called War, which is based in Japan. Jericho's been all around the world. He's been to Germany, he's been to Japan, he's been to Mexico. He's gotten so much various wrestling heritage from parts of the continents. He's got American wrestling, he's got Canadian wrestling, he's got Mexican wrestling, he's got Asian wrestling, and he's got European wrestling, just all mixed up, and that's the Jericho we know. He talks about his struggles with WCW and how he felt like he wasn't being taken seriously as a wrestler in WCW, and that's when he debuted in WWE, or WWF at the time, and things were okay, but he wasn't being used good or well enough for almost a year. And his first breakthrough was with a diva, China. That was his first Intercontinental title. Well, was it his first? I don't know, but that was his first Intercontinental title run. He goes on about his issues with WWE. Well, not issues like major problems, but struggling between being a wrestler and being a lead singer in a band. Then, after leaving WWE in 2005, he focuses time on his band, and things were going great for him. Even the Big Show said that he, was the happiest guy he's ever seen. Then, around late 2007, Jericho comes back and brings this flair and pizzazz to the WWE once again, but the problem was he didn't want to do the same old thing. So Jericho went from being the good guy and decided to be the bad guy Jericho, the hypocrite, parasitical tapeworm. And this was all based on, a lot of this was actually based on a movie that he watched. He mentions No Country for Old Men. That's where he based his persona off of, and he based a bunch of these big words off of this promoter in wrestling a long time ago who uses big words to make himself feel better than everyone else. And he continues on through his career from 2008 to 2011. I think 2011, or no, 2010. And talks about how he's always been the bad guy, and he likes being the bad guy. He knows he's the best in the world at what he does, and nothing, nothing or no one could take that away from him. The DVD is definitely worth the $8 I paid for it. Yeah, I got it on sale at Kmart. It's definitely worth it for the DVD commentary. Wow, I keep putting the program away when I'm gonna need it out. My favorite matches on this was, well, I like the introduction that he did where he was like, "Hi, I'm MC Hammer." And I cracked up laughing. My favorite matches on the DVD were the Jericho versus Cactus Jack. I thought that was a pretty good match for what it was. Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero, for obvious reasons. Jericho versus The Rock for the WCW Championship. That was a pretty classic match. And then Jericho versus Stone Cold a year later, around the end of the Invasion angle for the WCW Championship, where Jericho won both titles in one night. That was probably my favorite because it was one of the things that captivated his career in the WWE. On disc 3, my favorite match, obviously, at the start, was Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. Jericho versus Shawn Michaels at Mania 19 was the highlight. It was the highlight match, and I mean, they stole the show. That had to be one of the best WrestleMania matches in history. One of the best. It's as good as Hogan versus Andre. It's as good as Rock versus Hogan. It's as good as Rock versus Cena. It's as good as any other Undertaker WrestleMania match. This match was the match that was good. This was one of those matches that would go down as one of the best. The next match I liked, which kind of was inspired by Jericho himself, was the one where Jericho got fired. And he made this very clear in this DVD. He's like, come on. People gave him so much sympathy about the fact that Jericho got fired, and people's just like, oh, come on, man. That's what bad guys do. They always get carried away. And he's made it clear that if he wanted any other way to go out, he probably wouldn't take it. He liked the idea of being carried out like a bad guy. The hero always catches the bad guy, and that was Jericho's thing. My next favorite match was Jericho versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship, which Jericho won. That match was good. I like Jeff Hardy, I like Chris Jericho. They both gave it a good show. I would have to say that my last favorite match would be Jericho versus Michaels, again at No Mercy 2008, which I actually attended live. One of my favorite matches of all time. And I'm just putting the pamphlet back up the right way. That probably captured the highlight of my time as a wrestling fan, and made me really happy to be a wrestling fan, seeing Jericho and Michaels duke it out. I never actually heard the commentary for the match until I got the DVD, and I was like, wow, I remember this match. This was great. So, yeah, that's my review on Jericho's DVD. I give it about an 8 out of 10. There's some matches that I wish were on here that weren't, but I liked it. And I think this is definitely worth buying. I got it on sale at Kmart for $7.50, so it's worth the buy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. I'm DBZWrestlingFan. If I could get this stupid thing in here. One thing I hate about slates, they're tough to get the sets back into. And stay tuned where I will do a review of the Undertaker DVD, the Streak DVD specifically. And I'll do a review of both The Rock's DVDs. And I'll also get around to reviewing Edge's Decade of Decadence DVDs.